Hello and welcome back to World 360. How have other countries reacted to Canada's accusation that India played a hand in the killing of a Sikh extremist? A long-standing territorial dispute between Azerbaijan and Armenia has started up again. But what's different this time? Is Turkey looking for an alternative to the India-Middle East trade corridor? We answer all these and more in today's episode. First up, the diplomatic row between Canada and India. This week, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau created a storm when he accused India of having a hand in the killing of Sikh extremist Hardeep Singh Nijjar. Both countries then expelled senior diplomats in a tit-for-tat move. Keep in mind that this is the first time in almost a decade that India expelled a senior diplomat from a Western country. Now, as we speak, Canadian authorities are investigating Nijjar's killing, which took place on 18th June, but no suspects or arrests have been announced as yet. Trudeau is currently under pressure from the opposition in his own country to reveal what evidence has been found. What we know so far is that Nijjar was killed by two unidentified men in Surrey outside a temple. The gunmen later fled in a silver 2008 Toyota Camry. But what we also need to look at is how other countries have reacted to Trudeau's allegations, especially the Five Eyes, which is an intelligence alliance between Australia, Canada, New Zealand, the UK and the US. While all the five countries have backed Australia's probe and called the allegations serious, they also reportedly resisted attempts by the Trudeau government for a joint statement on Nijjar's killing. The Washington Post, in a recent report, said that ahead of the G20 summit in Delhi, Canadian officials privately raised Nijjar's killing with other officials from the five nations. But a joint statement was not the result at the end of this. This is because Western leaders, especially US President Joe Biden, have been working hard to court India, which they see as an important counterweight to China. Keep in mind that the US and Australia are also India's partners in the Quad. Canada's Foreign Ministry also claimed that Trudeau privately raised the issue with Biden and British PM Rishi Sunak before making these claims on the floor of the Canadian Parliament. So here's what countries have said so far. The US White House National Security Council spokesperson Adrienne Watson said, "We remain in regular contact with our Canadian partners. It is critical that Canada's investigation proceed and the perpetrators be brought to justice." The UK, meanwhile, has said that the allegations are serious and must be investigated, but has also said it would not affect UK-India negotiations for a free trade deal. Australia's Foreign Minister Penny Wong called these concerning reports and stated that her country is monitoring the developments along with other partner countries. But what we're seeing unravel between India and Canada is mistrust that dates back decades. The bilateral relationship has seen many ups and downs. Ties were strained during the years of the Cold War when India's warm ties with the Soviet Union were viewed with suspicion by Canada and other NATO players. In 1974, Canada was upset with India over its first nuclear test since the plutonium used in the nuclear device came from Canada. In 1998, Canada slapped sanctions on India for its second nuclear test, and these were only lifted in 2001. There was a major upswing in relations when Stephen Harper of the Conservative Party was in power in Canada from 2006 to 2015. During this time, Harper and Manmohan Singh, the Indian PM at the time, signed a civil nuclear deal ending a 36-year freeze in nuclear cooperation between the two countries. But ever since Trudeau and the Liberal Party returned to the helm in 2015, the Khalistan issue has simmered below bilateral relations. For our second topic, we're looking at Nagorno-Karabakh, a long-standing disputed territory between Azerbaijan and Armenia. Germany, US and Russia have all called for a cessation of violence, and France too has actually called for an emergency meeting of the United Nations Security Council. At least 27 people have been killed in this conflict and 200 wounded so far. The landlocked mountainous area, however, has been a site of tensions between Azerbaijan and Armenia for years. Both countries laid claim to it after the fall of the Russian Empire in 1917, and it has never been resolved since then. In fact, the first Nagorno-Karabakh war took place in 1988. Now, this conflict is not just territorial but ethnic and religious too. Azerbaijan is a Muslim-dominated country while Armenia is majorly Christian. Nagorno-Karabakh is internationally recognized as part of Azerbaijan, but it is populated by ethnic Armenians who have their own government, which is not internationally recognized. Violence started up again in 2020 when Azerbaijan began a military operation in the disputed region. This was officially known as the Second Karabakh War. Azerbaijan won this war mainly with the help of drones and military backing of Turkey. Russia eventually played peacemaker to negotiate a ceasefire since it is a treaty ally of Armenia but also enjoys good relations with Azerbaijan. You might be wondering where India stands in the midst of all of this. Well, in April, it was clear when India formed a bilateral with Iran and Armenia. This was seen as sort of a counter to the trilateral between Azerbaijan, Pakistan and Turkey. So what's different this time is that the dispute is raising its head at a time of fractured geopolitics. Russia, which once played peacemaker, has been largely distracted by the Ukraine war, and Armenia also seems to be little frustrated, having accused Russian peacekeepers in Karabakh of failing to do their job. Meanwhile, the rise of China has the West focusing efforts on the Indo-Pacific region, but nonetheless, the South Caucasus is no doubt a region where Russia, the US, Turkey and Iran have been jostling for influence for years. But it's clear they've been weathered by flashpoints in other parts of the world. If anything, the latest offensive has raised fears that the unrest could destabilize yet another region in the world. For our last topic, we're looking at what Turkey has been up to ever since it was bypassed on the India-Middle East Economic Corridor, or the IMEC. During the G20 summit this month, you may recall that an agreement was signed between India, Saudi Arabia, EU, the UAE, France, Germany, Italy and the US for this trade route. Now, this trade route seeks to connect India, the Arabian Gulf and Europe through a complex transnational rail and shipping route. And this was largely seen as a counter to China's Belt and Road Initiative, or the BRI. Take Italy, a partner of the IMEC, which was once part of BRI but has taken a U-turn this year and even expressed regret over ever being involved in BRI. Critics have meanwhile questioned the logistics of the IMEC and who will be financing it. But that aside, Turkey appears to be coming up with an alternative route. If you recall, after the G20 summit, Turkish President Erdogan said there can be no corridor without Turkey. Let's not forget that Turkey has traditionally been seen as a bridge between the East and the West, but geopolitics is clearly playing a hand here too. This week, the Financial Times reported that Turkey is in intensive negotiations with regional partners Iraq, Qatar and UAE about a proposed $17 billion project that would be formed within the next few months. It would entail 1,200 kilometers of high-speed rail and parallel road network. But much like the IMEC, similar questions are being raised over this alternative route by Turkey, such as where's the money going to come from? Also, Iraq's role is dubious given the level of corruption and political instability the country has seen in recent years. Thank you for watching. This is Pia Krishnankutty for ThePrint.